Hello, welcome to this Crypto Professor Introduction to Basic Attention Token. Basic Attention Token is effectively a cryptocurrency that has been designed to revolutionise the economy of the internet. It is one of the only projects that has a very, very highly functioning product. You're actually staring at it right now. This browser that I'm using is effectively the Basic Attention Token browser called Brave. I've been using Brave for almost 2 years now, and it's a fantastic browser because it allows you to control who has access to your data. Every time you use an internet service, email provider, Google, Facebook, etc., they are able to track you effectively and know what you visit, where you go, who you interact with, and market to you. That's basically how the modern internet works. You provide the data, they provide you with the service, and effectively you are the product. That's what we've seen with the freemium model that is used very, very well these days by all the large technology companies. Apple recently has started moving away from it and is starting to be more privacy centric, but effectively over the entire history of the internet, the model has been build a platform, track the users, market to the users based on their data, which is usually anonymized, although there are ways of unanonymizing that data, and then allow advertisers to have free reign basically to control that population's attention. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the statistics further along in this video as to why that model is kind of one of the worst ways that you can actually build a system which is effectively designed to share as much free information to as many people as possible. Okay, but before I digress, and I am going to be doing a fair amount of digression in this video away from what you might consider to be common cryptocurrency type discussion, I want to just go over the Basic Attention Token tokenomics, just to give you an idea and a flavor of what the token is actually designed to do. Basic Attention Token was made in 2017. It is an ERC20 token. It is based on Ethereum, and there are 1.5 billion tokens as a maximum supply, and there are 1.48 billion currently in circulation. So we're very, very near the last kind of 20 million tokens to be circulated. Okay, it's currently ranked 76th in the world in terms of market capitalization, with a market cap of 360 million, a nice high trading volume of 177 million, and a range of around about 1 cent either side of 24 cents at the moment. The price is actually fairly static. Its all-time high is around about $1, and its all-time low is around about 8 cents, and it has oscillated over the last 3 to 4 years between that, and its average has probably been about the median of those prices, so around about the 30 to 40 cent region. Okay, so it's currently kind of pushing up towards the upper echelon of that range at the moment, and I will be doing a little bit of technical analysis towards the end of this video. But you might ask, why is Basic Attention Token actually needed? What does it do? What is its purpose? Well, let me show you. Basic Attention Token is designed to fix or help to fix the way the internet is monetized. Okay, so I'm a content creator. You're watching my content right now. Thank you very much. And my business model relies on using YouTube, which serves adverts. Okay, now I'm going to be pulling the cloak or the emperor's new clothes off of this throughout this video and talking very openly and honestly about the way this works. So at the moment, when you use YouTube, you watch a video. Okay, and that video might have several adverts in it, and those adverts are funded by advertisers. Now YouTube, in all its power, obviously powered by Google, will collect data from you about the type of videos you watch and then build a profile on you, and it will cipher through the content creators and find matching advertisers. This is why at the moment I'm trying to get to 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, because then YouTube have determined that that means that the channels have a certain amount of quality that an advertiser would want to associate their brand with effectively. And to YouTube, it's all about the revenue generation. It's all about the advertisers. Once again, the individuals watching, I'm sorry to say this, but they are the product. Okay, and they get the content for free, effectively, or without using any money, I should say, but they pay in attention, and that's the whole reason why it's called basic attention token. Effectively, the basic attention token wants you to be paid for your attention. At the moment, you just watch the videos and you kind of just don't pay anything, but you are paying with your time. And there's a couple of calculations I'm going to do a little bit later that show you how much time you're actually losing to advertising. Okay, so this is the main website, and this is the Brave browser. Okay, so effectively this entire ecosystem is built around this browser, which is based on Chrome, Google Chrome, but it's had a few tweaks in the background. Everything that you scroll through or view on the Brave browser stays with the browser, so it's stored on the local computer that you utilize it with. Okay, so if they want to serve you an advert through Brave, it would stay, all the data would actually stay on the computer you're using. There's no servers, it's not shared anywhere throughout the world, it's all done locally on your local computer. Okay, what that means is they don't need to know, the people who are behind the basic attention token and Brave, they don't need to know your likes and dislikes, they don't need to know what videos you've watched, they don't need to know what websites you visited, they don't know how many friends you've got on Facebook, they don't know what your search history is, they don't collect your voice recordings through Alexa devices, etc, etc. Okay, all they need to know is that when an advert goes out, it will automatically get matched up to the appropriate user based on their data profile, which is stored on their desktop. Okay, and I'm going to show you a little bit later about how many things are tracking us on the internet and how this currently works and why basic attention token are trying to fix it. So how do you pay a content creator like me for their resources? Okay, so if you go to a content creator, and very unsubtly I'm using my own profile here, but if you go to the Brave browser, you'll see that I'm a Brave verified creator, which means I can accept basic attention token, and you can send me a tip should you wish to. If you like this video or like any of my videos, you can send me a range of basic attention token that goes into my wallet, and that is a coin that I can then trade to pay my bills or whatever I want to do. I'll definitely probably invest it at the moment, considering where I think basic attention token is going, but effectively that is the way it works. Okay, users can buy into the basic attention token and then use that to give their content creators they like the most power. Okay, and it doesn't need adverts. Okay, all they need to do is be good enough, be high quality enough to get tips from time to time. Okay, so let's look now at the basic attention token white paper. This is slightly dated, back in March 2018. Quintessentially, it basically can be summarized in one sentence, and that first sentence is it: digital advertising is broken. Okay, I've scanned through and read the entirety of this paper, okay, and I've picked out some certain key phrases that I really want to hone in on. Okay, mobile advertising results in as much as $23 per month in data charges on the average user's data plan. Slow page loads and as much as 21% less battery life. So mobile adverts are actually costing us money and time and battery life. 91% of adults agree strongly that users have lost control of how their personal information is collected and used by companies. A visit to a popular media site can often have 70 trackers set loose on the reader, and I'll show you a little bit later what those trackers look like. Ad fraud is a problem that the companies behind are dealing with, okay, and it's costing them 7.2 billion. This is bots that basically are going onto websites. They're not really viewing the adverts, but the adverts are still getting served, and it's costing a huge amount of money for advertisers, which pushes the cost up for everyone. There is no sign of this fraud level reducing. One study found that up to 79% of mobile data transferred during visits to popular publishers was a result of ads. So 79% of data coming through your mobile is adverts. Okay, when using an ad blocker, that is 0. Okay, and people are increasingly turning to ad blockers, which means that revenue models are collapsing. If you notice newspapers at the moment, they're not really looking to serve adverts anymore on their lines. They are looking to have paid subscriptions. Okay, and that's because ad blockers are completely decimating the market because people are fed up of being tracked and having adverts served to them that don't represent them. 73% of online ad revenue, an astonishing 99% of all growth from 2015 to 2016 was caused by this ad blocking situation. Okay, so 73% of online digital ad revenue and an astonishing 99% of all growth from 2015 was caused by this ad blocking and increasing the actual budget. And marketing budgets continue to climb, yet the results per dollar spent are actually static or even shrinking because people are getting wise to the fact that they're being marketed to. Okay, so let's have a look now at actually what happens when marketing goes wrong. Okay, now you might think that marketing works pretty well at the moment. You might think that people get their adverts out. Something's obviously working because adverts are still being served. Well, not necessarily. In actual fact, it's a real problem, and the actual amount that is being spent is actually getting lower and lower. Our analysis suggests that you would only get 2.5 minutes of attention from 1,000 desktop display ads. So it's incredibly ineffective in terms of, it's a numbers game. For small to medium-sized industries, you can't really advertise. You've got to have a multi-million-pound budget in order to do anything. Okay. This is how advertising works effectively. You are tracked by internet companies who then sell your data to marketing agencies and to companies for you to be marketed to. Okay, I'm just going to give you a little example. So I'm just going on the Yahoo homepage here. Okay, there are 48 trackers, 49 now, that are actually following me at the moment. Well, they would be following me if I didn't have my shields up for this site. Okay, what's more, watch this. If I skip out of it and skip back in, 52. So that means that 3 advertisers knew exactly how long I was looking at this page for. Okay, once again, skip, 56, 57. They also knew I clicked on this here. Okay, so that shows you what happens. Every single thing that you do is tracked. Okay, so if I scroll down, then numerous adverts roll up and this jumps off the charts, and I now can no longer track. Okay, I can no longer see how many things are tracking me because we're over 99. Okay, but that just shows you what's going on behind the scenes. And even on this, the New York Times, I'm being tracked. Okay, Google, there's around about 5 trackers operating on Google, because what they do is they actually track you when you use the website as opposed to actually tracking what you're searching, because you're giving them that data. They don't have to track what you're searching because you're freely giving them that data. However, if we go to the Brave partner, DuckDuckGo, what's this? Oh, no tracking at all. So I can actually have my shields off for that if I wanted to, and it wouldn't make any difference. DuckDuckGo is obviously the search engine of choice if you want to avoid being tracked anywhere online. Okay, so that just shows you what's going on in the background. That people have heard of cookies. People know they're being tracked. People have had the odd experience where you've had a conversation about a certain brand or something, and then it's shown up on your internet a couple of days later. But this really demonstrates what's going on behind the scenes. This is the be-all and end-all of marketeers. They want to know exactly what you're doing at any one point on their websites because it helps them sell you stuff. I mean, just look at this here. I mean, we've got all sorts of adverts coming up for all over the place. And yeah, I mean, you can't move for adverts. Now, it'd be fine if that was effective. It'd be fine if, if everyone's happy with that, it was very, very efficient. The problem is it is not efficient. The internet is no longer what Tim Berners-Lee wanted it to be. In effect, anyone who appreciates cryptocurrency will appreciate it is not decentralized. It is run by a number of companies who have bought huge amounts of real estate in the online world and are using that to turn enormous profits. Your Facebooks, your Googles, your Yahoos, your AOLs, etc., etc. They are all making money out of this model. Even Amazon. Okay, and even companies you wouldn't even think of, like M&S, PayPal, etc., are all utilizing this business model to have a free product offered to the customer, but they mine your data and sell it to the highest bidder in return for your attention. Okay, so how much attention do they typically give? Well, if we look back at these notes, we can see that digital marketing experts estimate that the most Americans are exposed to around 4,000 to 10,000 advertisements a day. The average time that people spend actually looking at a desktop display is around 1.3 seconds. With a mobile ad, it's about 1.5. Okay, so if we take the average of those two, and remember this is discounting the 9 seconds, which is a typical pre-roll ad on desktop, which is the type that YouTube uses. So we're not even dealing with the biggest adverts here, which are obviously the most powerful because they are the ones that are the longest. If we times that middle number, 7,000, by 1.4, we get 9,800 seconds or 163 minutes. 2.72 hours of each day, on average, if you use a computer, is taken up by adverts, clogging your internet, okay? Giving you messages, giving you ideas of what to buy, where to be, what to do, when to go on holiday, etc., etc. And it's no wonder the internet is feeling very, very overwhelming at the moment, because we are literally being marketed almost 24/7 by this business model that demands our attention. Okay. Net neutrality is a problem because when companies buy up huge amounts of internet real estate, they can control what happens to it. Okay, and obviously net neutrality has been a thing that is going around the world at the moment. Some websites have been paying to have higher speeds and more attention from the global internet, and obviously that is a problem. Okay, Google is the largest search engine in the world by far, and yet its business model is entirely dependent on harvesting data and processing data and giving it to advertisers. Right now, you're using a Google product, you're using YouTube, and you know I'm contributing to that because I'm asking you to view my videos on YouTube, and it's okay if you understand what's happening, but the majority of people don't understand what's happening. Basic Attention Token is trying to give you another avenue, another business model to do that without having to have this attention sapping environment where all of your focus is basically taken up by that. Okay, Facebook, social media. Okay, what Facebook knows about you is pretty unbelievable in terms of what it can do. We saw in the Cambridge Analytica scandal that Facebook had the power to manipulate and change opinions for voters. Okay, and that is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger a problem the more Facebook data is harvested. Okay, and then we have Google Chrome, which dominates the browser market. Okay, there's around 20 million users of Brave. Okay, and obviously the code that runs Brave is the same essentially as Chrome. Brave is a little bit faster and does have a few more bells and whistles which help, but effectively Google want you to use Chrome because then they can utilize their best technologies in order to market to you, which is why Chrome has taken over as the default browser, because Google services align with it the best. Okay, but Google aren't the only company doing this. Internet Explorer, Edge, Microsoft are doing this. There's huge numbers of companies that are doing this for their own benefits. Okay, so I'm not singling Google out, it's just that Google are the largest company doing this business model. Okay, so we've seen this diagram, who owns the internet. Okay, but it's not even that effective. There's things like banner blindness. So the reason we're served 10,000 adverts a day is because most of us have become very accustomed to seeing adverts and ignoring them. There's a psychological process called habituation, which is where when you see something or hear something a certain number of times, you phase it out because you don't think it's particularly important. Your brain decides that it can't be very important because it's there, which is why lights flash, warning lights flash. If it was a solid color, you would just phase it out. Okay, and this is the typical design of a web page. It looks very, very similar to the Yahoo one. And we literally focus on what we want to see and we fade out all of the others. Okay, the average click-through rate dropped from 2% in 1995 to 0.5. Okay, and that's a 0.5% of a click-through rate for an advert. You're getting 200 times, you're getting charged 200 times more than you're actually getting clicks. Okay, so for an online advertiser, if we look at both sides of it, it's a very, very inefficient way. It's a blasting way, basically, of getting your message out there. Okay, there's a more tailored way, and that's what basic attention token is trying to do. Okay, so let's turn away from why basic attention token actually exists and the technology behind it and what it's trying to solve with the tracking, and actually look at its price. Okay, now there are a huge number of articles online speculating on the basic attention token price. I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to look at this resource, which kind of says the price is going to stay around the low dollar region, maybe see up to 35 cents. This is quite an out-of-date article, maybe 50 cents, etc. But there's not huge amount of rushing. I can read in this, maybe $1 by 2025. Okay, I'm actually going to utilize the technical analysis tools here to dictate where I think the price will go. In Satoshi, around about 15,000 Satoshi is the next major profit taking area. So this was a major profit taking area, and you can see the price sold off rather rapidly. I would expect the price to start climbing considerably, and then a lot of profit to be taken around these two regions, the 12,000 Satoshi region and the 15,000 Satoshi region once again. And in terms of US dollars, 60 cents to 75 cents is going to be the key areas where we can actually see major profits being taken. Okay, right now we're bang on that 365-day moving average. Okay, as you can see, it's very, very flat, which indicates the price has been fairly stable. You can see this oscillates either side here. So we have a low of around about 9 cents, and then we have a high of just around about 45 cents or so, and we've kind of oscillated between those two regions as we see fit. Okay, there's another way of calculating the potential of the price, and that is by comparing it to the actual market that it is trying to take over. Okay, and that is the $330 billion digital marketing industry. Now that might sound very unfeasible, okay, but when you consider that 73% of online digital ad revenue and an astonishing 99% of all growth from 2015 to 2016 is from two sources, namely Facebook and Google, then all that would need to happen is theoretically Facebook and Google to lose that market share, to lose that market growth, and individual people who are controlling their own advertising will be able to take a huge chunk of that 330 billion revenue. Okay, and if that were to happen, the price of one basic attention token would be roughly $220, or roughly 1,000 times return from present prices based on the tokenomics. So if you take the entire market capitalization and funnel it, if you take this 330 billion and funnel it into the market, the circulating supply, we would have a token price of around $220. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Not really. Do I think the price is going to appreciate from here? Definitely. Okay. They have a very, very good product, and it's being utilized by thousands of people. If we go back to the actual page itself, you can see the statistics. In actual fact, they did an update recently where you can actually view what is going on. 20 million monthly active users and 7 million daily active users. So nowhere near Google Chrome's monstrous figures, but definitely growing. Okay. And they've delivered over 2,000 ad campaigns in nearly 200 countries. Okay. So you can have a read of this at a later stage if you want. It's on the Brave website. They've got nearly 1 million verified creators and publishers. Okay, I've just mentioned the campaigns they've done. The average click-through rate for Brave ad is 9%, which is well above that's, well, it was high. The high figure was 2%, but many brands are seeing even higher engagement. That's because your attention is being paid for. You know, adverts are being served to individuals who want to see them at the end of the day, and they are interested in what they want to see. And content creators are not being, you know, it's the equivalent of putting an advert in someone else's language. You know, if I see a Russian advert, am I going to understand what's going on? No. If I see an advert in English, yes, fantastic, that's fine. If I see an advert that I really want to see in English, if I'm in the market for a new computer and I see a computer advert that I want to see, I'm going to watch it all the way through, and I'm going to be very interested in what that advert has to say, rather than if I'm being marketed in Russian for a brand of computer that I have no interest in at all, then obviously the advertiser is just wasting their money. Partnerships. In my book, I mentioned that partnerships are actually one of the best ways of valuing cryptocurrency. Binance, Gemini, etc. have all partnered with Basic Attention Token, and they have grown their social media as well. So all in all, the fundamentals for Brave and Basic Attention Token are fantastic. It's a very easy, intuitive system to use. It doesn't necessarily require a huge amount of understanding to actually use the product. This Brave browser functions exactly like the Google Chrome browser. There are a number of other benefits. For example, you can actually store crypto wallets via MetaMask and ZillPay, etc., directly in the browser. Okay, so it's the browser has been entirely built around cryptocurrencies for cryptocurrency users, but with privacy and security in mind. Now, Brave does have a Wikipedia page, so you can go and read that and catch up on what it is and how it works, etc., and also read a little bit about the controversies and other things that might be a little bit of a risk with this. I've isolated the risks as being competition. They aren't the only tokenized reward or tipping cryptocurrency in existence. There are others. I would say that they're the market leader, but at the moment there are a lot of other startup projects that are doing a very similar thing. Adoption is very important. Naturally, 20 million users, it's good, but it's not fantastic when you look at how many billions Chrome or Google have. And funding. Okay, so one of the ways that they were funded originally over 3 years ago now was by an ICO, and the majority of that ICO, Ethereum, was actually exchanged for fiat. Okay, so obviously Ethereum has skyrocketed now to over $1,000. I'm wondering how much of that Ethereum has actually been benefited from that process. And obviously this date is before the bull run of 2017-2018. So I'm not sure what price the Brave creator team were able to get for their Ethereum. You'd hope that they kept a good number of it, but obviously this environment, this browser and the Brave network takes a lot of programming experience, and I would want to see a little bit more transparency from the company, and they want to kind of decentralize their own ethos basically, okay, in order for this to be a little less risky and get it away as much as possible from this kind of model and the environments where massive companies own products. So I'd like to see Basic Attention Token, become as open source as it possibly can, and the Brave browser, which I believe is also an open source project, become even more decoupled from the Brave organization and Brave corporation, if you like. It needs to be less proprietary and more community focused, because that is ultimately what the Brave browser and the Basic Attention Token is trying to do. It's trying to empower the community and get away from this corporate micromanaged world where you're blitzed by millions of adverts on a yearly basis and only 1% of them actually convert and 1% of them are actually relevant. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like me to analyze any project or look at any other cryptocurrency for you, then I'd be very happy to do so. Download the Brave browser, utilize the Basic Attention Token, and if you'd like to tip me, I'd be very grateful to receive any tips you might consider me to be worthy of by using the Brave verified creator profile on YouTube, sending a tip through the system, and I will hopefully catch you on my next video where I will analyze another cryptocurrency and look at the pricing structure. But otherwise, as always, happy trading. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to get $25 of CRO completely for free, please sign up to Crypto.com using our referral link in the description on this video. We also get $25 of CRO to keep this channel operating. The Crypto Professor likes feedback. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it. If you'd like more of the same, please don't forget to subscribe. Or if you have questions, please post them in the comments and I'll endeavour to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.